Welcome back to ABC General Hospital Spoilers. Today we learn about the shocking events taking place in Port Charles and abroad, as a shocking revelation shakes the foundation of the Corinthos family. Carly Corinthos finds herself caught up in a complicated and emotional situation that no one saw coming. The story begins when Carly senses something strange about the story Willow tells her about Michael's condition in Germany. Willow has traveled abroad to visit Michael, who is being treated at a prestigious medical facility. However, upon her return, Willow accidentally mentions to Carly that Michael refused to see her during her visit. Carly is confused by this unusual behavior, because although Willow and Michael are divorced, Willow only wants to discuss the custody battle. As a mother, her instincts immediately signal that something is wrong. Determined to discover the truth, Carly decides it is time to travel to Germany herself, both out of concern and because of the growing emotional distance during Michael's lengthy medical treatment. Carly's journey across the Atlantic was unexpectedly smooth and uneventful, heightening her anticipation of reuniting with her son after a significant period of separation. Upon arriving at the medical facility, Carly felt both nervousness and immense relief, eager to finally see Michael and assess his recovery firsthand. When she finally stepped into Michael's hospital room, the atmosphere was filled with warmth and joy. Michael appeared healthy, stronger, and visibly recovering from his serious condition. Mother and son shared an emotional and heartfelt reunion, laughing and reminiscing, as if all the tensions and anxieties of the past months had melted away in the embrace of their reconnection. However, their joy was suddenly interrupted by an unexpected and bewildering occurrence. A severely injured man in the same hospital room, his face badly burned and barely recognizable, suddenly addressed Carly as Mom. The shock Carly felt at hearing this familiar yet impossible declaration was immediate and overwhelming. Her heart raced uncontrollably, her mind refusing at first to accept what her ears had just heard. This man, whose appearance was obscured by the tragic injuries he had sustained, insisted that he was Morgan Corinthos, Carly's son who had tragically died years earlier. At first, Carly was paralyzed by disbelief, convinced this had to be a cruel mistake or a terrible misunderstanding. Yet, as the man continued to speak, his voice weakened and strained by pain yet undeniably familiar, Carly's maternal intuition surged powerfully. A deep, unexplainable instinct told her this was indeed Morgan, her lost child, miraculously returned to her in the most shocking circumstances imaginable. She cautiously approached the injured man, her voice shaking with hope and fear, asking questions only Morgan could answer. With each response, her doubts diminished until she was undeniably convinced this patient, lying gravely injured but alive, was unquestionably Morgan Corinthos, her beloved son who had long been mourned as lost. Overwhelmed by this revelation, Carly broke down emotionally, grasping Morgan's hand tightly, promising through her tears that she would never let him go again. Morgan, barely able to maintain his composure due to both his injuries and the profound emotional relief at being reunited with his mother, began to recount his harrowing experiences since the world had believed him dead. He explained how, following the explosion that was thought to have claimed his life, he had been rescued by a mysterious organization with secretive intentions. Morgan described how he was trained, conditioned, and tasked with dangerous missions, forced to assume an entirely new identity. The organization had held him captive not through chains but through his own necessity for survival, manipulation, and desperation to live. Tragically, Morgan revealed, the mysterious organization he had unwillingly served had been violently dismantled, leaving him gravely wounded and barely alive. Left alone and severely injured, he had eventually been discovered and brought to the medical facility in Germany, coincidentally the same one treating his brother, Michael. As Carly listened to Morgan's painful story, her heart shattered, weighed down by profound grief for everything her son had endured without her knowledge or protection. The guilt she felt was overpowering, but so too was her determination to make things right. Carly vowed fervently to Morgan that he would return home, that he would never again face danger alone, and that he would once again experience the safety and love of his family. Morgan, despite his weakened state, found strength in Carly's unwavering resolve, a spark of hope rekindled in his broken spirit. Carly knew she needed to inform Sonny, Morgan's father, immediately. Sonny Corinthos, who had long suffered silently from the trauma of losing Morgan, was living a life shadowed by grief, regret, and the painful void his son's supposed death had left. Carly, recognizing how momentous this revelation would be for Sonny, contacted him urgently. When Sonny answered the call, Carly's voice shook as she delivered the news he had secretly yearned for but never dared to dream possible, that Morgan was alive. Sonny was initially speechless, overcome by shock, disbelief, and an indescribable wave of hope and gratitude. Once reality set in, however, Sonny's reaction was decisive and swift. He could not bear to remain separated from his resurrected son another moment longer. Without hesitation, Sonny immediately arranged travel plans to Germany, determined to reunite with Morgan, no matter the obstacles or consequences. When Sonny finally arrived at the hospital, the emotional reunion was deeply powerful and touching, as father and son came together after years of separation and unspoken pain. Sonny saw Morgan's injuries firsthand and was profoundly moved by his son's strength and perseverance. Sonny, a fiercely protective father, promised Morgan with deep sincerity that he would never again be alone or vulnerable. Sonny swore to his son that he would personally ensure Morgan's safety and recovery, determined to shield him from further harm at any cost. As Sonny embraced Morgan, the room filled with a profound sense of healing, closure, and hope, symbolizing the Corinthos family's long-awaited restoration. With Morgan's miraculous survival now revealed, Carly and Sonny began planning their next steps, focusing on how to safely bring Morgan home to Port Charles. Both were resolute in their commitment to helping Morgan rebuild his life, heal from his traumatic past, and reconnect with family and friends who had mourned him deeply. Carly envisioned a joyful future where Morgan could reclaim his rightful place within the family, enjoying moments of love, laughter, and peace, in moments she vowed to fiercely protect and cherish forever. The return of Morgan Corinthos was set to ripple through Port Charles, transforming lives and relationships within the community. Friends and family members would soon learn of this miracle, reshaping their understanding of loss, resilience, and the boundless strength of familial love. Carly and Sonny knew Morgan's journey toward emotional and physical recovery would be arduous, yet they were unwavering in their belief that together, the Corinthos family could overcome any challenge. As we close today's edition, GH Spoilers leaves you with this monumental twist: a story of tragedy transformed into hope, loss redeemed by love, and a family once shattered, now reunited and stronger than ever. Port Charles will surely feel the profound effects of Morgan's return, promising more dramatic and emotional developments to come. Thank you for joining us today. Be sure to keep tuning in to ABC's General Hospital to see firsthand how Morgan's astonishing resurrection reshapes the lives of those he loves and forever changes the fabric of the Corinthos family. Next, we will dive deep into the heart-wrenching drama surrounding Willow Tate, Drew Kane Quartermaine, and a scandalous encounter that has left fans on the edge of their seats. Buckle up, because this tangled web of betrayal, manipulation, and shocking revelations is about to take us on an emotional roller coaster. With secrets unraveling and relationships hanging by a thread, let's explore every angle of this explosive storyline, from Willow's shattered trust to the sinister forces working behind the scenes. The drama kicks off with a scene straight out of a nightmare for Willow Tate. Picture this. She walks into a dimly lit room, expecting to find comfort in the arms of her beloved Drew, only to stumble upon a sight that shatters her world. There, sprawled across the bed, is Drew, seemingly entangled with Jacinda, a mysterious woman with a reputation as the town's go-to companion. Jacinda, wearing nothing but Drew's shirt, flashes a sly grin as if she's just won a twisted game. The air thickens with tension as Willow's eyes widen in disbelief, her heart racing with a mix of rage and devastation. Before Drew can even process what's happening, Willow bolts from the room, tears streaming down her face, leaving him dazed and desperate to chase after her. But his body betrays him, his limbs feel heavy, his mind foggy from what he later discovers is a ketamine-induced haze, a dangerous side effect that renders him powerless to explain himself in the moment. As Willow disappears into the night, the weight of this misunderstanding threatens to crush their once unbreakable bond. Could this be the end of their fairy tale romance, or is there more to the story than meets the eye? Reeling from the betrayal, Willow seeks solace in the one person she trusts most, her mother, Nina Reeves. Collapsing into Nina's arms at her cozy apartment, Willow pours out her anguish, her sobs echoing through the quiet space as she recounts every painful detail of the scene she witnessed. Nina, ever the comforting figure, strokes her daughter's hair and offers warm reassurances, but beneath her sympathetic facade lies a calculated agenda. Seizing the opportunity to sow seeds of doubt, Nina gently suggests, "Maybe this is the real Drew, the one we've all overlooked." Her words are laced with a subtle venom, designed to deepen Willow's pain and drive a permanent wedge between her daughter and the man she loves. Despite her heartache, Willow's instincts scream that this isn't the Drew she knows, the kind, loyal partner who has stood by her through thick and thin. Yet Nina persists, painting Drew as a potential secret addict or a reckless philanderer, whispering about missed warning signs and hidden flaws. As Willow's mind spirals with questions, she begins to wonder if she's been blind to Drew's true nature. Meanwhile, unbeknownst to her, Nina smirks in the shadows, reveling in the chaos she's orchestrated, fully aware of her role in this devastating misunderstanding. Will Willow see through her mother's manipulations, or will Nina's influence push her to a point of no return? As the storm brews, Drew refuses to let this misunderstanding destroy everything he holds dear. With determination burning in his chest, he drags himself to Nina's doorstep, his head still pounding from the night's mysterious events. He knows Willow would run to her mother for comfort, and he's prepared to fight for the truth. Standing outside Nina's quaint home, he knocks with urgency, his voice hoarse as he pleads to see Willow. Inside, Willow's anger erupts like a volcano. She screams at Drew through the door, accusing him of jeopardizing their family's future. Her deepest fear spills out, losing custody of her children. She paints a vivid picture of a courtroom battle, where a judge might deem their home unstable due to Drew's apparent indiscretions, especially if the scandalous rumors of his night with Jacinda spread across Port Charles like wildfire. The image of her kids being torn from her arms fuels her rage, and she unleashes every ounce of hurt onto Drew, who stands helplessly on the other side of the door. Yet, even in her fury, there's a flicker of love in Willow's heart. Deep down, she longs to hear his side of the story, clinging to the hope that the man she adores hasn't betrayed her so cruelly. Will Drew manage to break through her wall of pain, or has too much damage already been done? Just when it seems like all hope is lost, a twist emerges that could turn the tide for Drew and Willow. Despite the damning evidence, a compromising video Nina slyly showed Willow, capturing Drew and Jacinda in a seemingly undeniable act, cracks begin to appear in the narrative. Drew, piecing together fragments of a hazy memory, recalls being at the Savoy earlier that fateful evening, sharing a seemingly innocent drink with Tracy Quartermaine. After that moment, his recollection fades to black, swallowed by an unsettling void. He swears to Willow that he has no memory of what transpired afterward, his voice trembling with sincerity as he begs her to believe him. At first, Willow hesitates, her trust battered by the vivid images looping in her mind. How could she ignore what she saw with her own eyes? But as Drew's desperation shines through, her resolve softens. Surprisingly, even those who aren't in Drew's corner begin to question the situation. Laura Spencer, known for her disdain toward Drew, admits his behavior feels out of character, her brow furrowing as she ponders the inconsistencies. Similarly, Curtis Ashford, another skeptic of Drew's integrity, confesses he never pegged him as the type to wound Willow so carelessly. If even Drew's adversaries sense something's amiss, could Willow, whose love for him runs deep, find it in her heart to give him the benefit of the doubt? As whispers of a setup begin to circulate through Port Charles, the couple stands at a crossroads, teetering between heartbreak and redemption. Beyond the immediate drama, there's a darker undercurrent at play that threatens to unravel everything. Rumors swirl through the town's gossip mills about who might be pulling the strings behind this scandal. Could Nina Reeves, with her history of manipulative schemes, have orchestrated this painful charade to sabotage Willow's happiness? Her subtle jabs and pointed comments to Willow hint at a deeper motive, perhaps rooted in a desire to control her daughter's life or exact revenge on Drew for past grievances. And what about Jacinda? Is she merely a pawn in a larger game, or does she harbor her own vendetta against the Quartermaine family? As Willow and Drew navigate this minefield of deception, they must also contend with the prying eyes of Port Charles, where every whispered rumor and sideways glance adds fuel to the fire. The couple's struggle isn't just about repairing their relationship, it's about uncovering the truth in a town where secrets are currency and trust is a rare commodity. Will they emerge stronger together, or will the shadowy forces conspiring against them tear their love apart for good? As we wrap up this deep dive into the latest General Hospital saga, one thing is clear: the road ahead for Willow and Drew is paved with uncertainty, but also with the faint glimmer of hope. Their love, though tested by betrayal and doubt, has the potential to withstand even the darkest storms if only they can uncover the truth and confront the puppeteers behind their pain. Stay tuned, dear fans, as we continue to follow every twist and turn in this gripping storyline. Will Willow forgive Drew, or will Nina's influence prove too powerful? Next, we will explore the exciting possibility of Scott Clifton returning to Port Charles as the beloved Dylan Quartermaine. With rumors swirling about Clifton's potential exit from his role as Liam on The Bold and the Beautiful, fans are buzzing with anticipation about whether this could be the perfect moment for him to reprise his iconic character on General Hospital. From family reunions to unresolved past dramas, there's no shortage of compelling reasons for Dylan's comeback. Let's dive into this intriguing prospect, unpacking every facet of what his return could mean for the residents of Port Charles. First, let's take a nostalgic trip down memory lane to revisit Dylan Quartermaine's early days in Port Charles. Scott Clifton originally portrayed Dylan, the son of the formidable Tracy Quartermaine and Paul Hornsby, from 2003 to 2007. During those formative years, Dylan was a central figure in the town's vibrant teen scene, rubbing shoulders with characters like Lulu Spencer, Maxie Jones, Brooke Lynn Ashton, and the tragically departed Georgie Jones. Their group was synonymous with high-stakes teenage drama, often entangled in messy romances and life-altering decisions. One of the most poignant storylines was Dylan's relationship with Lulu, which took a heartbreaking turn with her pregnancy and subsequent decision to terminate at a moment that left an indelible mark on both characters. Those raw, emotional chapters of Dylan's life endeared him to fans, showcasing Clifton's ability to bring depth to a young man grappling with love and loss. As we reminisce about those turbulent times, it's clear that Dylan's history offers a treasure trove of narrative potential, especially now that many of his former peers are navigating their own complex journeys as adults in Port Charles. Fast forward to the present, and the timing couldn't be more ideal for Dylan to stride back into the heart of General Hospital's drama. Babies and family legacies are dominating the current storylines, particularly for Lulu and Brooke Lynn, two figures from Dylan's past who are now at the forefront of Port Charles's most gripping plots. Lulu, recently awakened from a years-long coma, is wrestling with the emotional aftermath of her past while trying to reclaim her place in her family. Meanwhile, Brooke Lynn is entangled in a web of secrets surrounding her own child, with tensions flaring as she clashes with Lulu over long-buried truths. If Dylan were to return, last portrayed by Robert Palmer Watkins from 2015 to 2017, he'd step into a powder keg of familial conflict and unspoken histories. Imagine the charged conversations as Dylan, now a more mature and perhaps world-weary man, tries to navigate these muddy waters. Would he bring a fresh perspective to Lulu and Brooke Lynn's feud, or would his presence only stoke the flames of their rivalry? His return could serve as a catalyst for revelations, forcing buried emotions to surface and offering a chance to explore how those teenage bonds have evolved or eroded over time. Beyond reconnecting with his old friends, Dylan's homecoming would also mean a heartfelt reunion with his family, particularly his mother, Tracy Quartermaine. Tracy, a cornerstone of the Courtemain dynasty, has recently returned to Port Charles herself, bringing her signature blend of wit and ruthlessness to the Kew mansion. Picture the emotional scene as Dylan walks through the grand doors of the family estate, greeted by Tracy's sharp gaze softening into a rare moment of maternal warmth. Their reunion could delve into unspoken regrets and the years they've spent apart, with Tracy perhaps reflecting on how her own choices shaped Dylan's path. Moving back into the Kew mansion would also position Dylan at the heart of the Courtemain family's ongoing power struggles and eccentric dynamics. Would he align himself with Tracy's schemes, or carve out his own role in the family's legacy? Additionally, his relationship with his niece, Brooklyn, could take center stage. As Brooklyn battles Lulu over personal and familial secrets, Dylan might find himself torn between loyalty to his niece and a desire to uncover the truth.